Can a Christian date a person who drinks alcohol?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, when I saw this question, I was discussing this question with my wife to say, baby, let's say you right now as a Christian, and I came into your life and I was drinking alcohol. Will you have dated me by then? And her answer actually took me back to those years when we met. Because when I met my wife years ago, what happened was she did not know that I was a Christian and she did not know that I was saved. And already she was a Christian and she was saved. When I was speaking to her for the very first time, she asked me a question. She said to me, "Are you born again?" And right at that time already I was a minister of the gospel. I was a man of God. And of course I'm born again. But now when she said that, I was actually challenged. And my answer to her was, no, I'm not born again. And what is to be born again? And of course I was playing around, and she answered me and she said to me, in order for you and I to be friends and to continue with whatever you are actually proposing at this point in time, she said to me, you need to be born again. Wow. I said, is it necessary? She said, it's the most important thing at this point in time. And I said, how do I become born again? And right there, we're on the street. She said, lift up your hands. And I took my hands up like that. And she said, pray after me. And as soon as I did that, she said, now you're born again, now you're saved. Me and you, we can be friends. Here's my number. So when I was asking my wife, what I came up with was what I was doing was not much of a problem. She did not even ask me, do you drink? Do you smoke? Do you do what? No, she was concerned about one thing. Are you saved? Because she knew that once I'm saved, everything will fall into place. Me and her, we're going to speak one language, okay? So the problem is not in the alcohol that the person is taking. The problem is what the person believes in. All right. You see, if we are going to deal with alcohol in a sense of is a major problem. I know a lot of people who drink alcohol, but they are very happy in their marriage. And I know a lot of people who don't even drink alcohol, but there's so much confusion in their marriage. So alcohol does not actually bring you together or separate you. What separates you guys is your religion. So it tells you that alcohol is not much of a problem. Your religion is the most important thing in your life. And if I'm not going to share the same commitment to what matters the most in your life, then we have a problem. Of course, many will come and say, I'm not going to try and keep you from practicing your religion or from doing whatever you do. But later on, it's going to catch up with you. Wow. Because if you are not going to commit yourself to what matters the most in my life, then we are going to have a problem, surely. The problem with you is you are using this thing of we have more in common. More in common does not really mean anything if you don't have your God in common. When I say your God, I'm talking about your religion. Wow. So we can have more in common, but if we don't have God in common, there is a problem. Romantic chemistry is nice, but spiritual compatibility is necessary. So don't allow romantic chemistry to actually mask, or rather to cover, what matters the most in your life. Because if you are going to commit because we have more in common and I feel this way, then you are going to have a problem. The problem is not really alcohol, because other people are using that, trying to actually hide something. What matters the most, you guys must be in the same page. So if you guys don't share the same commitment when it comes to your religion, you are wasting each other's time. It's going to catch up with you, either him or her. So is it wise to date somebody who is, having children or has a child? Remember, just because you are in the same place, it doesn't mean you're in the same space. So find out by how the person, responds when it comes to the relationship that you have with your child and the relationship that you have with your children. Because how he responds between that relationship will tell you if you are in the same space. Just because you are in the same place, do not be fooled. There are a lot of people right now watching me. You have been with a person who has a child, or you have a child, and you have been with somebody who does not have a child. And it started off right, but in few months, it became something else. And there is somebody watching me right now. You are actually married to somebody who has a child, who has children, and you are happily married. So the experience is not the same. Why? Because what matters is what's here. What matters is we need to be in the same space. It's not really the children and the kids and the child is not a problem. The problem is, are we in the same space here? Because if I'm going to date you and you have a child and you have children, you have kids, and I should not come and replace your kids. I should not come and expect you to love me more than you love your kids. Because that's where the problem is. If I come into your life and I find out that you have 2 children and you love them, this is your world. This is what matters. And I came after them. And remember, these are, part of you. Your DNA is in them. But as for me and you, we are related. So that means the bond and the love is extreme. So I cannot come in the picture and expect you to give less and give more on this side. I can't even expect you to love me the same way you love them. And you right now, you're looking for a partner, you're in a relationship and you have a child, you have children already. Do not sacrifice that for a man who can wake up in the morning and say, I don't love you anymore. Because your children, even if they can wake up and say, we don't love you anymore, that's crazy. You are still connected to them. They are your children. Even if you can stand and say, I don't love you too, the truth of the matter is you don't mean it. You might say that moment because you are angry, but when reality knocks, guess what? You will call your children and say, you know what, I'm sorry. Yeah, so do not sacrifice that. Do not sacrifice that for somebody who can wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I can even find somebody better. No. Love your children, love your kids, love your child, love your people. So whoever comes and joins in that family, he or she must understand that this matters. Am I saying that you don't have to love him more? You have to. But be careful not to overshadow that and give everything that you are supposed to give that side to one person who can wake up in the morning and say, it's not working. So remember, you need to be in the same space. The person needs to understand that you live in a completely different world. And before you judge somebody, understand why they can't be or why is it difficult for them to be in the same space with you. Sometimes it's something that you can fix. And sometimes you need to, a little bit bend a little bit. Because sometimes, imagine if I come into your life and the first thing you tell me is, I'm never going to love you more than I love my children. You have killed me already. Let me see your actions. Let me see you loving your kids. Are you listening to me? Let me see you loving your kids. Never put it on my face. Because if you do that, I'm going to look for somebody who's going to love me. We are human beings. Even you watching me right now, you need somebody to love you. What matters is we need to be in the same space. It's not really the children and the kids and the child is not a problem. The problem is, are we in the same space here?